Dear students, welcome to our English second paper class. You know that during the COVID-19 pandemic, the government has taken decision to close down all your institutions. In this situation, Amar Ghore Amar School has brought your classroom to your home through Sangsad Bangladesh television. So let's start today's class. The topic that we are going to learn today is simple future tense. You are going to find this topic in your book at Unit 2, Lesson 8. Before starting today's class, let's have a closer look at this conversation. Read the following conversation and notice the time reference of the verbs and the verb forms in the underlined sentences. So you can see that there is a conversation going on here and you may find it in your book. Let's look at that. Raghib, I have no money in my pocket. What shall I do now? Zinat, don't worry. I shall lend you some. Raghib, will you please give it right now? Zinat, here you are. Raghib, thank you. I'll repay you the loan tomorrow. Zinat, that will be fine. So as you can look at this conversation, you may see that there are some underlined parts in here. And the underlined parts are referring to future simple tense. The underlined sentences refer to a future action. The modals shall and will are used to indicate simple futurity. You have seen that the modal is followed by the base form of the main verb. These are the examples of the future simple tense. So dear students, I hope you have understood what you are going to learn today. Yes, you're right. We are going to learn future simple tense in today's class. So what tense do we use to talk about some actions that will take place in future? We know that when we talk about an action or event that is going to happen in the future or after now, we always use simple future tense. The tense we use to talk about things that will take place in future is known as future simple tense. So what are the learning outcomes of today's class? After today's class, you will be able to understand the uses of simple future tense. You will be able to write sentences correctly using the natural structures of simple future tense, and you'll be able to ask and answer questions using simple future tense. So we use simple future tense to talk about our plans for the future depending on the context or situation, depending on what kind of plan it is. Is it a spontaneous plan? Is it a pre-decided plan? Or is it an arrangement? So you can see a picture here. Here you can see some crosses. The crosses are referring to the events that are going to happen in the future. And as you can see, it is happening after the present time. So basically, there are two ways to use simple future tense. We can see that there are two ways to talk about simple future. One is using will plus verb, and the other one is using am, is, are, plus going to, and then the verb. Now let's talk about the uses of will. We use will to talk about spontaneous plan decided at the moment of speaking. So as a speaker, if I'm speaking now, if something is decided right at this moment, I'm going to use simple future tense to talk about that. For example, I forgot to phone her, I'll do it after dinner. So the thing that happened, forgetting the phone, that happened before now. So that's why I have used past tense here. But I'm going to do the call after the dinner. For that reason, I have used simple future tense in here. The second example is, I can't decide what to wear tonight. I'll wear my green shirt. So this is something that comes spontaneously. And thirdly, there's no rice. I'll buy some when I go to the shops. So all these actions are happening at the moment of speaking as a spontaneous plan. For this reason, we have used will in these cases. Now let's look at the structure of simple future tense. Now this is the structure of affirmative sentence or positive sentence in case of simple future tense. As you can see in the example, here we have used will with all kinds of pronouns or nouns. That means we can use will in simple future tense regardless of the noun or pronoun that you're using. For example, I, you, he, she, it, we, they. All these pronouns that we are giving here, they all are using will as the auxiliary verb in simple future tense. And afterwards, we have used the base form of the verb. That means go, do, see, play, fight, tell, and read. Now, if you want to use the contraction, what you can do? You're going to use apostrophe and then you're going to use double L as a short form of will. So as in these cases, the sentences can be, I will go, you will do, he will see or she will see, it will read, you will play, we will fight, they will read. So basically what we are doing here, we are using the subject as the beginning, then we are going to use will after that, and we are going to use the present form of the verb after will. Now here's the structure of simple future tense in case of negative sentences. We know that in negative sentences we are referring to something that is not going to happen in the future. So for this reason we are going to use not. For example, I will not play. So this was the same kind of structure that we were following in affirmative. The only difference is that we have used not after will in here. You will not study. He, she will not work. We will not eat. You will not try. They will not cook. In all these cases, if you want to use the short form or the contraction form, you can use want. So will not is equals to want. You can use want in this place also, but if you use want, do not forget to use the apostrophe. Now here we are going to use interrogative sentences in simple future tense. In these cases what we have done, as you know, when we ask a question or when we pose a question, we use will at the beginning of the sentence. As in these cases, we have used will, subject, and then verb. So will has been put at the beginning of the sentence to ask a question in here. Will I work? Will he work? Will they work? In all these cases, what is being seen in common? The question mark. Now how we can use interrogative sentences in simple future tense? As you can see, we use simple future in the interrogative form to ask for prediction, beliefs or intentions about the future, and when we are certain that these events will happen. So to ask for prediction, to ask for belief, or to ask about something that is going to be certain or not, we are going to use will. Now let's look at the uses of shall in case of interrogative sentence using simple future tense. With I and we can use shall. This usually means a suggestion or something that is not certain. Let's look at the example. Shall we go to the cinema? Which means that we are asking for a proposal. If we are going to propose someone to go to a cinema, how we can do that? We are going to use shall. So here we have used another example. What shall I wear for the party? Now what am I going to wear in the party? That is something that is not certain. For that reason we have used shall in that cases. So I'm repeating once again. If something is uncertain, or if you're asking for a proposal or suggestion, then you can use shall with I or will. Now read the sentences below and notice how we talk about future plans. Here you can see a different structure of using simple future tense, but here this is going to talk about something that will be planned in the future. I am going to buy some dollars from the airport. I am going to take only a small suitcase and a laptop with me. She is going to sit for the exam next year. Now all the events or the actions that are going to be happen, of course these are something that will happen after now, that means in the future. But look at the sentences carefully, all these are plans. So how these are plans? For example, I'm going to buy some dollars in the airport. So I have a plan in my mind that I'm going to do this at the airport. In the second one, I'm going to take only a small suitcase and laptop with me. Again, in the same context, I'm planning to bring something with me. And thirdly, I'm going to sit for the exam next year. So that means that I have planned to do something in next year. Now what we can see common in these sentences? We can see that we have used going to plus verb in all these cases. So we use going to talk about plans decided before the moment of speaking. So as I'm speaking now, if I have decided something that's going to happen in the future and that is planned, we are going to use going to plus verb in this case. For example, I am going to phone mom after dinner. I'm going to wear my black dress tonight. I'm going to do the supermarket after work. So going to dinner, wearing something, or going to supermarket or shops, all these are part of my plan. For these reasons, I have used going to plus verb in all these cases. And how the verb have been used? They have used the present form. So here are some other examples of how you can use going to in simple future tense. I am going to attend a party tonight. You are going to see the teacher this evening. We are going to plan a surprise party for Ali today. She is going to meet her parents soon and they are going to play a friendly match. So what we have done in here, we have used the subject, then we have used the auxiliary verb am, is or are. We have used going to, and then we have used the present form of the verb. Now we all know where do we use am. When the subject is first person singular number, for example I, then we are going to use am. If the subject is first person plural number we are going to use are. In case of second person you, we always have to use are. And in case of third person singular number, for example he, she or it, we are going to use is. And in case of third person plural number as in they, we are going to use are. Now here we can see that there is a picture of a birthday party. Let's read what's going to happen here. On Saturday, Nobuni will be 3 years old. Her parents are going to have a birthday party. The party is going to begin at noon on Saturday. Many people will be invited at the party. Nobuni will have so much fun. Nobuni's mother is going to cook pulao and chicken curry. Her father is going to buy a special cake. It will be a chocolate cake. Nobuni will love her cake. Her grandmother is going to bring some ice cream and her aunt is going to buy her a nice dress. All of Nobuni's relatives will bring beautiful presents. Nobuni is going to have a nice birthday this year. Now in this text, you can see that some of the parts have been highlighted. On the other hand, some other parts have been underlined. So if you look closer, you can see that the highlighted parts, they are using will plus verb. On the other hand, the underlined parts, they are part of a plan, and for that reason here going to plus verb have been used. So what we have learned today? We have learned that we use simple future tense to talk about actions that will take place in the future, and we have talked about plans that is going to happen in the future. We have also looked at the structures of simple future tense using will and going to. Now it's time for homework. This homework can be found in your book at page number 39. What you have to do? You have to complete the following dialogues using the future simple tense. For example, the A person is saying, will you sleep now? Now we can see that the part of B's speech is blank. What you have to do? You have to come up with your own sentence in here and you have to complete the dialogue. So depending on the context, you can use whatever you want, but be sure that the sentence is meaningful and it is using the correct structure. Next, we can see that A is again saying, when will you sleep then? So it's an interrogative sentence. Now we have again B and A in here. So that means you can use affirmative sentence in here. You can also use interrogative sentences as well. Dear students, do the homework. Submit the homework to your teacher when the school reopens. The evaluation given by your teacher will be added to your continuous assessment. With this, we have come to the end of the class. Stay safe, stay at home, and